Hi, how are ya? It's Travis in here, and welcome back to our adventures with Elsent the Worgen Hunter. Today we are going to be slaying Mor'Ladim once again. We slayed him last episode, but we did not have the quest. So today we are going to slay him again. So let's make our way over to Raven Hill. We also have the story of Morgan Ladimore, which is Mor'Ladim, so we could check that out. Morgan Ladimore was a great and noble knight who fought in defense of the innocent, the poor, and the afflicted. For many years, he worked diligently throughout the outlying areas of Azeroth, bringing relief to the suffering and swift justice to evildoers. He was married to a young girl named Liz in the summer of his 18th year. They were much in love with each other and would eventually produce 3 children, a son and 2 daughters. Morgan was 32 when war broke out in Lordaeron. Morgan was called to the side of the legendary paladin Uther, the Lightbringer, to fight against the orcs and the undead. Leaving his wife and children in the safety of his home, Morgan left for war. The years passed and the war dragged on, and Morgan would witness many horrific events, including the disbanding of the Paladins of the Silver Hand, the death of Uther, and the spread of the plague. The only thing that kept him from the brink of madness was the knowledge that he would someday be reunited with his wife and children. Morgan would eventually return to his homeland, but find it nothing like how he remembered. The once verdant forest was corrupted and teemed with the undead and other dark forces. Destroyed houses and farms could be found everywhere, and the cemetery near Raven Hill now dominated much of the area. A shocked and bewildered Morgan eventually made his way to his home, only to find it in ruins, not knowing what had befallen his homeland. He headed towards the village to find answers, and he hoped his wife and children. Morgan inquired about his family, but could not find any answers. A priest in Darkshire, as it was called, said that he might search the cemetery at Raven Hill for a gravestone. Morgan refused to believe that his family was dead and continued to search every farm and house in Duskwood, but to no avail. Morgan rode from Darkshire to nearby Lakeshire, thinking that perhaps his family had fled on his way. There, he decided against his better judgment to stop by the Ravenhill Cemetery. Morgan spent hours walking amongst the gravestones. He recognized many names of people that he knew and became more distraught. Then he saw them, a small untended plot amongst the many with 3 small gravestones. A feeling of dread washed over him as he approached. Morgan brushed off the dust of the most prominent gravestone to reveal the name on it simply carved upon the grave. Letters spelled out, "The worst fear, Liz Ladimore, beloved wife and mother." Morgan's apprehension turned to dismay and then to grief. He fell to his knees weeping. For hours he stared at that one grave, begging the cold stone for forgiveness and sobbing apologies. Then, hours later, something in him snapped, and he began to lash out. He brought his sword out of its scabbard and began to rain blows on the gravestone. Screaming in rage, blind in his fury, he lashed out and swung wildly, catching the notice of a trio of the cemetery attendants. As they tried to restrain him, he turned his focus to them, hurling accusations of guilt upon the innocent attendants, then killed them all. Later, when the rage had passed, realization crept into Morgan's mind, and he saw his bloody sword driven into the chest of one of the attendants. Driven to the brink by his emotions, he removed his belt knife and plunged it into his heart. Morgan Ladimore's body and 3 bodies of his victims were found. The next day, he was quickly buried without ceremony in a hastily dug grave on the outskirts of the cemetery because Morgan committed murder against innocents, something that went completely against the beliefs and his nature. And because of the grief that he held in being unable to save his family, Morgan could not die a peaceful death and lived as one of the restless dead. Only days later, his grave was disturbed, and his body could not be found. The being that was Morgan now wanders Duskwood, consumed by grief over the loss of his wife and children and his own self-hatred. Mor'Ladim, as he now calls himself, roams Duskwood with mindless vengeance and hatred, and has been known to commit murder indiscriminately. There we go. That's the story of Morgan Ladimore, guys. Now we'll see if it continues. There's more to it. But see what Cataclysm did. We're getting a few skinning levels here, guys. Almost at 140. Might as well while we're looking for Morgan. You should probably go in the cemetery, though. That's probably where we'll find him. We only have a few more quests to do, guys. Should be done with Duskwood at the end of this episode. And then it's going to be off to STV, and we're going to start doing some dungeon farming. Because why not? It's been a while. Well, there's Morbidus again, the Tomb Guardian. Wonder if we'll end up getting a quest to fight him. So Mor'Ladim patrols around here. We seen him yesterday in this area. Maybe we should just pick up this quest instead. We should find him eventually. Guided by light. Find the Lightforge rod in Ravenhill Cemetery. Supposedly it's right here. Buried in the cold dirt, you find a brilliant metal shaft, but there are holes where pieces of the artifact are clearly missing. In front of you, the bare earth slopes downward towards a dark entrance to the crypts. You feel the tug of Lightforged artifacts urging you towards it. Perhaps the other pieces down there. All right, so they want to bring us into the crypt. Maybe we'll try to find Mor'Ladim first before we head down there. Should see him soon, unless somebody's just slain him. These ghouls are bloody everywhere. Drop a trap for him. It only hit one? Yeah, I can only hit one at a time. He didn't hit the other one. Sometimes wonder if they're even right about his patrol location. Maybe we'll just go in the cemetery. And then hopefully we find him later. Yeah, I'm not too sure if he's spawned. They do say he could be up here. Kind of got lucky, I guess, just running into him last episode. Here's where his grave is. Yeah, he's not up here either. Well, let's head in here. Hopefully when we come out, we can find him. I think he must be on like a spawn timer or something like that. I'm surprised there's no ghouls spawn down here. Maybe there's actually somebody farming down here. It's kind of weird. Well, as you step on the grave, it summons ghouls. Got two attacking us here. I put like it was trapped down. Oh, we ran away. Gonna get a shade on us though. Alright, so here is the second half here. In the dirt of this alcove, your eye catches the shine of brilliant metal. You found another piece of the artifact. There we go. Duskwood quests. We did 45 of them. You attach the arc to the rod, and the artifact is nearly complete. A large cap still sits at the center of the holy symbol's head. Once again, you feel it tug your arm, urging you towards the hole in the wall and the winding tunnel ahead. The last piece must be through there. Interesting. I've never been here before. This must have been added to in Cataclysm. It's kind of cool. Because this isn't opened in Classic. Can't go in here. Wonder where this brings us. Are we making the Scythe of Alert? Maybe. Who knows? Probably not. In the darkest depths of the earthen tunnel, you spy the faintest gleam. The last piece is found. The pieces fit and the holy artifact is restored, gleaming with sacred light. This should let you defeat Morbinfel's dark magic. Further down the tunnel, away from the direction you came from, a hideous cackle rings out. It's the clattering laugh of a lich. Morbinfel is just ahead. Okay, let's go get him. So we got Morbin's Bane. Removes the protective enchantment around Morbinfel. Now, to get this in Classic, what you did is I think you went to the wetlands and you get it, like, enchanted by a priest or some crap like that. And they put, like, a blessing on it. So I guess this is how they changed it in Cataclysm. You have to, like, collect pieces and then put them together. And there he is, hanging out. Oh, this is a clattering cold wraith. Hanging out around an alchemy table. It looks like they're working on some ghouls. And there he is. He's a lich now. He's a humanoid in Classic. And he's inside the house that's next to Mor'Ladim's grave. All the ghouls up there. This place is littered with ghouls. That is a lot of ghouls, guys. It's too many ghouls. So should I just use the enchantment on him? There we go, we got him. This is a good spot. He got into our trap. Touch of Death's going on. There we go. Morgan fell down and slain. Let's loot his body and see what we get. Oh, interesting. So when we slay him, all the ghouls disappear. That is kind of interesting. I wonder if that... I wonder where this is. I think it leads us to where that big ghoul was. At the front here. Morbidius? Yeah. Yeah, he's not here anymore because we slayed Morgan Fell. That's cool. That's another way to go find him. You can just slay the elite and then make your way down there. Alright, so let's try to find Mor'Ladim once again. Wish it wasn't such a pain to find him. Supposedly walks around this way. Down here. Questie could be wrong, though. Maybe he has like a different patrol path in Cataclysm. But it's supposedly updated, but I doubt the... I would assume the add-on could make mistakes. I forget where we seen him last episode. I'm literally the only person in this zone. It feels like that. I don't know. I haven't seen anybody today. So he should be around here somewhere. And I'm not going to give up. Let's check over here. Just kind of lame how we have to keep fighting these bloody ghouls, man. Like, it's good we're getting XP, but I want to just find this Mor'Ladim without getting, you know, chased by ghouls. But if we weren't getting chased by ghouls, this wouldn't be Raven Hill Cemetery. So look, he's just hanging out at his grave. Like, he's not even patrolling. Interesting. This guy's a beast, though. Drop a trap. Gotta love that uphill disengage. Doesn't do too well. There we go. We got Mor'Ladim's skull, guys. So now we're gonna head down to where Jitters is, and we're gonna turn this quest in. So yeah, if you can't see him in the cemetery, just go to where his gravestone is. That's probably the best place to find him. Get a little bit of skinning XP here. Probably going to need to bring it up quite a bit, actually, before we go into STV. But we'll see. We shouldn't be Shouldn't be too bad. Probably 150. All right, there he is. Sven Jorgen. May the disgusting monster stay dead this time. I'll head down there and scatter his remains to ash myself, Elsent. You've done a great thing. Perhaps in time, Duskwood can return to its former peaceful state. And we're going to get Ashen Gloves, guys. 7 Agi, 4 Stamina. Also improves crit strike rating by 4. Those are pretty good. Let's put those on. Solid upgrade. And now we're going to hearth back to Duskwood. And turn in the Mor'Ladim quest.
What can I do for you?
I don't blame you if you're having trouble with him, Elsent. Some of our strongest watchers have been lost to Mor'Ladim.
See you around.
You killed him? That's no small accomplishment, Elsent. On behalf of the people of Darkshire and the Night's Watch, I thank you. Ah, there is one small matter, however.
Farewell.
I should have told you this earlier. How do I put this? Morgan may have believed that his family was all dead, but in fact, his daughter, Sarah Ladimore, is now a Watcher. She's always been troubled by the circumstances surrounding her father's death. Perhaps you could go and bring the news to her.
Be careful.
And there she is. She just walked right by us.
King's honor, friend.
Watcher Ladimore. Yes, my father, her eyes become downcast. I wish there was something I could have done for him. If only I had talked to him before he...
Light bless you.
Level 30. Nice. Daughter's love. Here, take this and lay it on his grave. Maybe somehow he'll know that I'm okay and that none of us hold him responsible for what happened. There are tears in her eyes now as she slides a ring from her right hand and presses it into your hands. And thank you, Elsent. And we're going to get a restored Arcurus sword, one-handed sword. Pretty nice, actually.
Be careful.
It's actually better than our two-handed one. Does more damage. All right, so we'll go this way this time. We'll do a little bit of skinning on the way. I'm going to try to get our skinning up to 150 while we make our way to the gravesite. And let's see, we have glyph slots. We'll have to get those filled up pretty soon. And let's see our talents. Yeah, 31's the next one. I wish this ability increased mount speed. It'd be so much cooler. Dark Flight, it should. Especially when you're in Running Wilds, like why not, right? Like who cares if it increases it by a decent amount for a certain amount of time. I know it's a little bit overpowered, I guess, maybe, but Death Knights and Paladins have a constant, boost to their mount speed. So why can't Worgens? I guess because if you had like a Worgen Paladin or a Worgen Death Knight, that'd be pretty ridiculous. What if Druid is stacks with that? I know Druids don't have the mount speed increase, but they do have an increase for Feral Druid. I forget if that would stack. as a Worgen in Running Wild. If we're even getting... We're still getting levels from that. Just need a few more. It's nice to see some light again. Been in a dark zone for a while. And I have been selling a lot of the BOEs we've been picking up and cooking materials on the auction house. I just send them to my DK trap box, and then he puts up whatever's in his bag. I just use a scan on with a Trade Skill Master add-on, and just pretty much imports all the loot in my bags onto the auction house for a fair price. Or it undercuts whatever's on the auction house by like 1 copper. Pretty good add-on, I recommend it. Makes, dumping stuff onto the auction house pretty damn easy. Yeah, level 30. That's when we finished Deskwood. Let's see what dungeons we can get into here. Stockades and Scarlet Monastery. That's good. SM's a lot of fun. We're going to get to do all the Scarlet Monastery dungeons in the next 10 levels. And there it is, A Daughter's Love. Leave me be. A ghostly voice sounds on the wind. This is Sarah. Could it be she's alive? Look, he's back. Back for another round. Let's put a trap down. There you go. Get in the trap. Okay. This is Sarah. Could it be she's still alive? The weight is removed from my shoulders. Elsent, take my sword, Arceus. As my soul is put to rest, I have no more need for it. It was forged to do good, and though I have proved myself unworthy to hold it, perhaps you will carry on the light through it. List, my love. And there he is. My sword, Arceus, served me well in life, but as at last my spirit may pass from the unhappy existence I need it no longer, I shall cling to the love of my daughter and hope that I will find forgiveness under the light for my sins. So I guess he went to the Shadowlands. We'll see what happens to him. I don't think you see him during the Shadowlands expansion or in the Maw or any place like that, but who knows? Who knows where you would go? I'm not too sure where you would go, to be honest. Maybe that vampire place? I forget what that place is called. Probably there. But yeah, guys, that is going to be the end of today's episode. Next episode, we will be probably in a dungeon. See which one we get into. Maybe the Stockade, maybe Scarlet Monastery Graveyard. But as always, thanks for watching. Keep your heads up. Later.